Bad Bitch Bible. Bad Bitch Bible.
Hey babe, welcome to the Bad Bitch Bible.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, babe.
My first straight man. I never...
Are you going to have more straight men on the podcast? I don't know if that's going to be a thing.
I don't think I would ever allow another straight man to speak in my in my midst. Wait, I never thought that I would get to a point in my life introducing my boyfriend on 3 cameras ever.
So good. This is so good.
This is just such a pivotal moment in my career.
It's like a social experiment.
It really is.
Of some sort.
What if I told you at the end of all this I was just using you for content?
Well, number 1, that would really suck. Number 2, go get that bag, I guess,
Mm-hmm. But instead, you're here today as my boyfriend. So, how do you identify yourself as? Are you a she, her, their, them?
I'm more of like a dude bro paratrung.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is your sexual identity and gender or preference or appropriation or... Who are you?
Wow, that's like 5 questions in one. I think...
Are you...
I'm definitely straight.
Are you sure?
I'm definitely straight. I'm as straight
Tried
as they
and
could
tested?
be. No, I have not tried anything other than straight. I don't intend to, but I'll respect everyone else that has.
In the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm an ally.
What are your star rising and moon signs? You know that.
I forget. I just know I'm a Gemini,
And
I might be.
That's it. I thought you knew this. I think our first date or like very early on in our relationship, you told me your star rising and moon, and from that point on, I was like, this man is a whore. Because only men that know those things, that means they've been around women so much, which means they're whores.
Yeah, but I got you, so I don't need that information in my head anymore. And so I've forgotten all of it.
Okay.
I'm a Gemini. I might be something that's Virgo, maybe.
I don't trust it.
I don't trust it either.
I remember early on...
I gotta do the calculations. Look at the stars
your
at
birth
night.
chart?
Yeah.
I remember early on in our relationship finding out that you're a Gemini, and I was surprised that we were getting along because my mom's a Gemini. And obviously, we don't get along too well. And so I thought that we wouldn't get along, but then, fuck the star charts.
No, I think...
Because I'm a Leo, by the way.
My brother's a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people that I've dated are just so happen to be Leo. Is that I'm attracted to that? I don't know, honestly. If that's if that's supposed to make sense.
Now.
I don't know if that's supposed to make sense, regardless of the signs. It was more than that attracted me to you.
Oh, okay. We'll get into your dating situation in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to ask, why were you in prison?
Just rip the fucking Band-Aid off, right? It's just...
Let's address the elephant in the room, because I can't ever post you without everyone saying that you went to jail, as if I didn't already know.
Yeah, fucking looks so ugly in my mugshot. I wish I could have, that good-looking dude
in the mugshot that went viral.
That went viral.
And then everyone was like, "Ooh, ex-con."
Yeah, that was me. I look fucking. I look a little unhinged.
You looked unfuckable.
Yeah, look fucking terrible. I wish I could have at least smiled,
It's hard to smile in that moment. It's hard
Trust
to be
me,
happy.
you got 6 dudes looking at you like this.
When you take your mugshot, can you do a redo?
No, there is no redo.
Can you be like,
I was
check?
when there's like 8 officers with machine guns in front of you, just kind of park like this. It's kind of hard to ask for anything.
It's hard.
There are no redos. There is no second chance. There's just
also
8 dudes with machine guns.
What do they take the photo with?
What do you mean?
Is it like a camera? Is it a phone?
It's a camera.
Okay.
But when it goes into print, obviously it looks fucking
that's why
trash.
It's so whack.
It's some kind of old shitty like digicam.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
So why were you in prison?
It sounds like there's this follow-up question.
Was it from stealing all these hearts?
No. I think I was just in the wrong place in the wrong time, wow, this is the first time I'm ever actually talking about it. And yeah, like just kind of looking back, that shit was tough. Shit was tough, man. I can't go into extreme detail for my own safety and for the safety of everyone that was involved. Mind you, this was in an era where the drug war was quite prevalent, and
drug war was popping.
Shit was fucking popping, man. I mean, in the news today, you see how our previous administration was kind of geared towards and how they were gearing the police force towards.
And it's not like that now. That's the thing.
It's not like that because people say, oh, all these people are corrupt or everyone's bad. Yeah. And I don't think that's the case. You know, a lot of my family are in military. You know, some of them have died fighting for the country. A lot of them are in SWAT, police, military. My grandfather was a general before he passed away. That world was very familiar to me. I know that there are good people and there are bad people. Whether it be in business, whether it be in government or whatever it is, they're just good people and they're bad people. And sometimes the bad people, they get into positions of power where good people are forced to do things they don't really want to do.
Okay, but I think the general question is, were you a drug pusher?
No, Jesus Christ. I was not. I've never made a single centavo like selling drugs. I've never done that.
Are you a drug pusher now?
No. Obviously fucking not. You know, I might look like
Is that what's paying for our dates?
No, you know what's paying for our dates?
Yeah.
Like my salary and crypto. You know? Like that's literally what fucking pays for the dates.
And do you ever plan on selling drugs?
No. For the love of God, no.
So
no.
You were not a drug pusher.
No.
So what was the arrest for? Why were you in prison?
All right, so
because I think that's what's confusing for people. When people ask me, hey, was your boyfriend a drug pusher? And I'm like, bitch, no. And then they Google you and then they see all that. I think that's where the disconnect comes from and people think I'm a fucking liar.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I was meeting a friend in Manila. We were just catching up because, well, we hadn't seen each other for, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 months. And another friend of mine followed after. And when he followed after, it was a little bit weird already. He called me up and said, yo, are you in the area? And I was like, yeah, I'm over here. And so he followed to where we were staying. It was like a cafe. But it was evening. It was like 6 or 7 p.m. And he said that he was going to come and see me because I told him that I was in the area. And I think 20 minutes or 15 minutes before he arrived, he messaged me saying that, oh, he can't make it anymore, but my cousins are going to be there. His cousins are going to be there. I'm like, okay, I don't know your cousins, bro. You know, like that's fucking weird. And so
don't give a fuck about
I don't give a fuck about your cousins, bro. But all right, I'm catching up with another friend, and I'm like, all right, so yeah, let's just wait for these cousins, I guess.
Yeah.
And when they arrived, I was like, okay, are you this guy's cousin? And they're like, you know, it's like all that shit. And they sat down in front of us because it was like it's like 2 tables, 4 chairs. And I was next to my friend, and then the 2 other guys, the cousins, they sat down. And already I kind of looked at them and I was like, this is fucking weird. Like I just feel like something bad's about to happen.
In your gut.
In my gut. I knew that something was fucking shady. And I tried to get out of the conversation because they were asking us, "Oy, saan kayo galing?" etc. All that shit. I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucking weird, bro. You know, like this is really, really weird line of questioning, and I have no fucking idea who you are. Yeah. You know, mind you, I was what 22, 23 years old, so I didn't know better. You know, I just felt something wrong in my gut. As I was trying to leave, they would always like have us waiting, and all of a sudden, I just see to my right a large flash of light, a full like camera crew, and 12 officers with different like machine guns, pistols.
So this is
swarming us.
Fully a trap. It's
fully a trap.
This is why, by the way, when we did the Scalper Gate episode, and I called my boyfriend, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the command center, and he was like,
don't fucking just go there, and you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, you know. But
this is the backstory for that.
Yo, pretty privilege goes a long fucking way, I must say. You know?
But why? Do you think if you're a pretty girl in that situation, it would have been different?
It really depends. It really depends.
Okay.
I don't think so, honestly. During that time, that was really fucking rough.
Yeah.
So they came from my right side, started taking pictures, threw a bunch of drugs on the table that we had, cuffed me without saying my rights, which you're supposed to be read. It's illegal. You're supposed to read your rights. And that's actually one of the things that helped me with the case, winning it. I just told my friend, listen, just don't speak. We'll settle this later when we get to the station. Because I know how these things kind of go.
Because of your family.
Because of my family, exactly. And I know that that give us an opportunity to reach out to our family after. And then we did. And so we tried settling things like after. But in that very moment, I just told her to just keep her mouth shut.
Yeah.
Anything that you say will be used against you.
Literally.
You know? Like literally. And I just didn't want to add any confusion to the facts that I was kind of keeping in my head, so that later on when I explained to the lawyer or explained to my family or even the arresting officers or their leading officers, I could actually keep those facts in my head and use them for evidence, right?
And so basically you were just trying to keep a clear head.
Pretty much. But obviously it wasn't easy. You know, I was freaking the fuck out. How could you walk into a situation with the barangay, with the counselor, the media, and all these police officers already together? Usually what happens is you make an arrest.
Okay.
Right? And then you call everyone after. But everyone was there exactly the same time.
So obviously they talked about it, right? Like they had to have planned it out. They couldn't just show up all there at the same time.
You could see the headline on the article, right? 32.
Yeah.
32 nabbed. That's what the writer from Philstar used, right? And that writer, I even look into him. He's like he's a beat writer. So he only kind of covers mostly flashy crime stories, right?
Cloud chaser. The cloud chaser.
I don't want to say anything, right? Not even going to name him. But yeah, I mean, that's how some writers work. They just
that's his niche.
That's his niche.
There.
That's his niche, right? And so you could see there are relationships that these agencies have with each other, so that when they move as one. Yeah. And they use all the words allegedly, right? But no one ever covers the cases after.
What happens after?
What happens after, right? They're always just allegedly this, allegedly that, and then everyone just kind of takes it for fact. No one ever reads about or writes about what happens after, because these are all cases that are open. Yeah. But each of these things are cases that are fought.
I'm listening to you after. I'm giving you a platform for after.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're cuffed.
Yeah, cuffed, brought to the station. We're transported in civilian vehicles. Are there just so many factors that played a role into me winning the case? Okay. Because a lot of things were done improperly.
How long were you in prison?
Long enough. Fucking long enough. I got transferred from the station to the headquarters, from the headquarters to Manila City Jail. And, it was an insane experience, I must say. Yeah, extremely humbling, It was fucking difficult.
Would you say it's the hardest thing you've done in your life?
Yeah, definitely. It's the hardest thing that my family went through, I think. In life.
But if you could choose going to prison again or me breaking up with you?
Damn. I'd probably just go to prison again, as long as you don't break up with me.
I wouldn't break up with you in prison.
Yeah. That shit was rough, but that's even rougher. No.
I'm kidding. By the way, when you were getting out of prison, you didn't know, right, that you were going to get out of prison? I remember you telling me that you were just surprised because you're ready to just be there. Yeah.
I was ready to be in there for at least 6 months. So I wasn't there for 6 months. Yeah. Right. So it's less than that.
But your mental state was
my mental state was all right, I'm going to be in here for at least 6 months because I didn't want to plead guilty. A lot of the times what they'll do is, oh, just plead guilty now.
And then we'll lessen
And
your
then
sentence,
we'll lessen your
whatever.
sentence or whatever and make things easier for you, right? Because that way they get to win the case immediately, right? There is no case. It's just you admit to your fault. And
Or not, really.
like,
You
or-
just say that you did to make
No,
it easier.
no,
Do some
it's-
people do that?
Well, here's the thing. Like, even if it's not their fault, they can create a problem for you where they can keep you in there for a very long time. Especially if you don't have access to lawyers. Especially if you don't have access to,
But your
certain
family was
connections.
very supportive.
They were very supportive. And even with all of our, connections and everything like that, I wanted to fight this case properly. I didn't want to have to run away from the case like other people do.
And then deal
And
with
then
it
just
10 years later. It
Exactly.
catches up to
Exactly.
them.
I was like, no, I want my record clean because there's nothing in this situation that supports me being guilty.
So when your case cleared, how did it clear?
They gave me three infractions, which means it's a non-bailable case.
Okay.
Right. So I had to fight for bail first. So I had to fight for access to bail, for me to be able to bail myself out.
Okay.
Right. That was step number one. So that at least I could fight the case from outside. Right.
And continue to
and
outside.
continue my life outside. And that took a while, but I won the bail case. And after I did, we went through the regular process. We went to hearings. They showed witnesses, and they tried to show the proof that they had. But ultimately, in the end, it went into my favor because most of my arresting officers ended up not being able to show up as witnesses because they themselves were imprisoned for extortion. Yeah.
Karma.
I didn't even have to do anything. That's the great thing about it. I think there is strength in integrity. There is purpose in that. And without me having to do anything really, things the universe kind of just unfolded itself. And that all helped in my favor. It's like, you're trying to, or this guy is trying to witness against me, but he's currently in prison for extortion. Meaning he tried forcing other people to bribe him.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, he'll create problems for them, And again, it's not to say anything about our police force because, again, there are good people and there are bad people.
In any business.
In any business, in any agency. So I have nothing against the PNP or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
Again, I have so much family in these
Mm-hmm.
agencies and, you just kind of have to do your best to survive.
Yeah. Okay. But I do have a question.
Hmm.
Were people nice to you in prison?
Obviously, with the way that I look.
That's why.
They're like, this motherfucking foreigner, motherfucker. I want to see him try some shit. And then I just come in strong. We're like, tol, kamusta kayo?
People are so surprised on my TikToks that you speak Tagalog.
I was born and raised in Cubao. You know what I'm saying? I do have an accent, I guess, but I all my English accent, I got that from listening to hip hop growing up. 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Eminem from ages 6 until 12, just all that. And I just got the
But you're half.
verbiage from there. I'm Indian, Spanish, Filipino.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are so confused that you speak Tagalog better than me. Anywhere we go,
Yeah.
they always expect me to speak Tagalog and not you. And then you speak Tagalog first.
I love it. I love it that people don't really expect me to speak Tagalog or understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So that when they're talking shit about me or saying something about me, I could just kind of keep my mouth shut and listen to what they're actually saying.
And also, how was prison food?
Sucks. Fucking sucks. The rations were fucking terrible. It's like, man. I could go on, honestly. We could spend hours talking about this. I don't know if we're going to do a deep dive into the experience.
I think we could do that another time.
I feel like that's a whole nother episode that we could just dive into. Prison stories, Because I met the nicest murderers and I met the most fucking asshole of thieves and frauds,
Yeah.
So again, in any place.
You're networking there.
I met a fuck ton of kinds of people inside.
Mm-hmm.
Innocent people, blatantly guilty people, and they're all just human. They're all just people. They're all just trying to get by. They're all just trying to survive because the system isn't fair. That's the truth.
It really isn't, which is why I think that when we started dating and everyone kept bringing it up, I felt a certain way against it because I was like, okay, perfect ka. Like,
I didn't want to speak on this ever because I didn't
Mhm.
feel like the need to explain myself. My
Mhm.
experience is my experience, and I'm the kind of person I am today because of that experience. And I don't regret anything that happened to me. I don't regret going through that experience. I'm extremely grateful that I'm able to do what I do today.
Which
And-
is, by the way, what?
So I have my own company. I run my own events company and event space. It's called Brooklyn Warehouse.
Which is why we do a lot of our good gang parties there because rent is cheap.
No, it's not
To
cheap.
me.
To
For
you.
me.
Our rent is not cheap.
Because I pay at night.
Yes, yes. But in the morning, it's a cafe all the way until night. And when we're not really doing, or when we rent it out to people that want to do events,
Mhm.
we close it down and then turn it into a whole new like space and experience for them.
You do that, and then you also do Good Gang. So
I do Good Gang, so I'm the finance head and biz dev head for Good Gang,
logistics head.
logistics head.
AKA everything that I don't want to do, you do.
Yeah,
Numbers,
But-
numbers, Excel sheets.
I fucking love sheets. I love Excel
You
sheets.
are a freak in the Excel sheets.
I'm a freak in all the sheets.
In the Excel sheets.
Specifically the Excel sheets.
Yeah. And you're a crypto bro.
I hate that word.
You're tech
I hate
bro.
that word.
Crypto tech bro.
Yeah, I like. I mean, we could say fintech.
You're a
do,
fintech bro.
I do a lot of broker. I broker deals for
Mhm.
currency swaps and
Not drug swaps.
currency swapping
Money.
and currency exchange over the counter. So
Mhm.
I do a lot of that.
Okay, and you've been out of prison for 4 years now? No,
Yeah.
6 years.
I know. I got out in
5 years?
2019. I was out in 2019.
Yeah, so almost 6 years now
Yeah.
because it's going 2025.
Yeah.
Wow.
Happily. But my case, I won that in 2022. So it's only been 2 years since
Mhm.
I officially won the case. We had, again, the hearings and everything. And I got the actual paper that said, oh, case has been dismissed for lack of evidence, etc. in 2022. End of 2022.
Mhm. I remember we just started dating when that happened to you. Yeah.
It always comes up,
Mhm.
and I guess because I just never really talked about it.
Mhm.
I just knew that it will always come up.
Mhm.
I just didn't really want it to be a thing that I had to talk about. But I'm here now because, I just want to set the record straight. More
Mhm.
for you.
More for me.
Yeah, more for you, honestly.
Thank you, babe.
But, I hate it that people are commenting bullshit on your channel without really knowing the truth. And I
Yeah.
think that they deserve, or that you deserve to be exonerated from that.
Thanks, babe. Okay, so let's get into dating.
Okay, let's
Stop talking about prison. We can do that another time.
Yeah.
We can do a deep dive.
do a
Because
deep
so many
dive.
questions were about prison, babe. Like
I bet.
somebody
I bet.
asked, like, did you have a best friend in prison?
I did.
Like who were you in the cell with? Like so many people were asking about your actual
The actual
experience.
experience.
And
Yeah,
the people you met.
Yeah, we'll save that whole experience for another podcast. I did have a best friend. There's actually so much there's so much organization inside. You have no idea.
Yeah.
People have no idea how organized it is inside. It might look chaotic, but there's Magna Cartas that people live by, and
But that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people end up staying in prison because they actually like it. There are also those people that
whoa,
like
whoa.
no, no.
It's not that they like it.
Okay,
Right.
but they don't have a life outside of it.
Well,
And they would rather be in prison.
no. I
Just
would.
remember Don Don.
Okay,
so
well,
backstory: I have this driver, and he was my driver growing up, super close. But then he got in contact with really bad people, started tweaking out. Turns out he was on drugs, ended up going in and out of prison. He prefers to be in prison than working out here because he felt more secure in prison.
Well, there's also an economy inside
Yeah.
prison, right? You can make money in prison.
That is fair.
Yeah, and
You
so
know-
some people make more money in prison than than outside.
That's one thing, but also Don, his family left him already because he was in prison. And so him being outside the prison, like, he found his peeps in prison.
I guess, to each his own, I guess.
Not
to each his fucking own, but not for me. Not for me.
Okay, so how did we meet, babe?
We met, it's the very first time we met.
Yeah, I think it's important to say the very first time
we met in 2017.
In La Union.
In La Union.
What were you doing there?
So
Who were you doing there?
No one.
Really?
Relax.
During that trip?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wasn't doing
Seemed
anything.
like...
It was just a really fun trip, right?
Okay.
Me and the Careless fam, we decided to do a road trip. During that year, I was just kind of slowly introduced to the whole group. We decided as a group, let's go to La Union.
Which,
right?
by
And
the way, was such a crazy experience.
It was
Because
crazy.
in 2024 now, you would never see like James at Flotsam. Like, that was just such a weird...
It was a very different time back then. I think La Union, the kind of culture in La Union back then was, it's like what Siargao was like
10 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago.
Not even. Like,
No. When the rise of like partying in Siargao.
Yeah, okay.
Like that's what La Union was before.
Yeah.
Right. And it was, people would go there to party.
Yeah.
Because they wanted something
And
out of the
spend the
city,
weekend just
spend the
partying.
weekend surfing, like that whole shebang. Just La Union was the shit.
Yeah.
Right? Flotsam was just fucking killing it like during that time. And
You were there.
we were there. We were staying in what's that Greek looking place? Thunderbird. Yeah. So we were staying in Thunderbird, but we would go to the side of in some Flotsam area. And
I met you there.
I met you there. I think I was already drunk. That was during the afternoon.
Both of us were super
It was
drunk.
the afternoon. Because you remember the 5-minute drinks?
Yeah, and you had like 4
I had 4.
or something.
I really underestimated it. I was like, 5-minute drink. Gotta finish it in 5 minutes. Fuck this shit. You know how you are as a...
I used to get 1 5-minute drink from Flotsam and sip on it.
Yeah.
Like, sip it very slowly. Because you're a broke college kid too.
No, for sure. We were very arrogant at that time. We were like, nah, we could fucking take this shit. So we downed one in like a minute. Pabilisin pa kami ni na Sam's and the rest. And I was like, all right, we got it. And that was kind of fine.
Yeah.
And so like, all right, round 2, right? By round 2, I think one of us was already kind of tipsy. The girls were definitely tipsy already. By round 3, it just got messy.
Yeah. I don't even remember our first interaction though. I just know that we met during that trip. Because it was so
I
blurry.
remember that someone from our group got really drunk and gave you an ice bucket challenge without your consent.
Yeah. So imagine me and my bikini at this house party. Like, it was...
No, it was in Flotsam.
Oh, was it there?
It was in Flotsam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were stupid, man. There were some like people throwing ice. Like,
Mike does that
across,
to people.
Across.
No, but then your
wow,
friend...
dropped Mike.
It's fine, it's Mike. Your friend, she got the whole bucket of ice where you put bottles and stuff or whatever, and she poured it all over my body, and I was just in a bikini, and I was freezing cold. My nips were hard. And by the way, it was my first time like meeting your friend group, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, to have hard nipples in front of your friends. You know how embarrassing that is?
It's fucking terrible. I'm so sorry
So,
about that.
I was like
We
cold, and I didn't have a towel. None of your friends offered me a towel either because I think everyone was just shocked, right? Like, shocked and drunk.
That's wild because she went to the bar to ask for more ice after.
Yeah, and then I saw you the day after that and the day after that because there were so many parties that weekend.
Yeah, we just went ham. There was a villa party. There was the
Beach party.
beach party.
It was on
so
and
that,
on.
That was the first time.
Yeah, but then I don't even remember if we ever spoke during those times or it was like, hey, what's up? Like that. I don't remember. Do you remember?
Not really. I don't really remember that we had like any meaningful conversation.
No, definitely not. I was drunk out of my mind. And then I saw you again at the Red Bull event that I was working at Silo. Do you remember? And he shows up in a hoodie in Silo, and you still have that hoodie.
I still have that hoodie.
Yeah, and he was super drunk also, and you were trying to like be a little, with me. You were getting a little close.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I don't know your setup. I was just like, hey, You look hot.
But then he was in a hoodie and
Hot.
silo. And then he had long hair pa.
I think I was also wearing my skinny jeans, my skinny ripped jeans at the time.
Yes.
Right?
And they're like acid wash, ripped,
Yeah.
skinny. It's like pick a struggle.
Yeah.
And then the
With
hoodie.
my long hair and the ponytail.
No, it wasn't nakapony pa. You're wearing it down.
Oh, just down? Just
yeah.
full, like,
No, and then
mane?
you had the mane like in front coming out of your hood.
Yeah. Damn.
I remember it because my friends were teasing me about you. And I was like, ew, oh my God.
Damn.
Mas mahaba pa yung hair niyo sa akin. Ew. And so we didn't
Monster.
do
Beast of a man.
No, because you looked unhinged, babe.
Yeah.
This was pre-prison still.
Yes.
And then prison, and then COVID, and then...
And then in 2022, right, our common friend introduced us over email.
who you tried to smash. Because one of my friends always tells me, you went out with her first, but I didn't know that when I emailed you, or when I texted you first. You tried to smash this girl, and I know it forever because all my friends tell me that you gave her the sex eyes.
The sex eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hard to tell.
Hard to
But
tell.
you know,
But you didn't smash, right?
we didn't smash. COVID was a very blurry time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that was just a great reintroduction to the dating scene.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
our
what usually
common friend,
what usually worked didn't.
and so our common friend who was working with Good Gang before, and I told her about my idea of throwing parties. I really wanted to create an all-girl group, promotional events team, blah, blah, blah. Like I had a whole vision for Good Gang, but still so much smaller than what Good Gang is today. At the time, I just wanted to throw parties and do branded activations at the clubs.
Yeah.
That was it. Like very straightforward, nothing too crazy. And so I texted you through the number that she gave me.
Yeah. And at that time, you know, I was running HQ. I just kind of came into the group, Notorious. So we were, you know, we had a couple of spots in Poblacion, and they needed someone to run nightlife. And
by the way, Notorious is separate from Careless.
It is a separate entity.
A lot of people don't get it, and they think that like it's the same thing.
Well, it's confusing because, you know, like the people that run it, there are a lot of intersections in terms of ownership and management, but at the end of it all, they are separate entities.
Yeah,
very separate entities.
Basically, Careless music, Notorious
like food
F&B.
group, F&B.
Yeah.
I had started a production company of my own, and
The
then
Finest.
The Finest, and we ran train on production. We did such an epic run, and
You guys
then
did so many ads during COVID.
dame, you know, for like the amount of projects we had within a 1 year span was insane.
And
But
to shoot it during COVID, by
to
the way.
shoot
Like,
everything during COVID.
you had like Yamaha. Did you do
we had
that?
Yamaha, we had Oppo, we had
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, we had
You're booked and busy.
Pepsi, and we had Sunny's,
Mm-hmm.
Gatorade,
So much.
a couple more. And then we also did like all the music videos. We did all the
Your
digital
content.
content.
Yeah.
You know, so we really, and then the visual album, right? I'm happy about that experience, but you know, as kind of creatively, as COVID kind of like waned, I closed the company, and then I said, all right, you know, I think I could run the nightlife with zero experience in F&B.
But with a lot of experience in nightlife.
I must say, right? And you know, through that process, I learned a lot of the back end from the friends who were also in that business. You know, all the service side, all the accounting side, and corporate side. Yeah, so I was running a nightlife for Notorious, and I got the text from you. I said, "Hey, let's meet via Zoom."
Yeah.
Like,
no. You're like, hey, do you want to come to Starbucks on Kalayaan?
Oh yeah. Like let's meet in person. And you were like, you were in Boracay.
I was like, I live in Boracay. We could do Zoom.
Yeah, I said, all right, let's set up the Zoom ASAP. Right. And this was like 2 months into me running nightlife.
This was in March 2022.
March, yeah. But I just started in January.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, all right, that idea of hot girls in my club, yes, let's do it. You know,
really? What did you think of me over Zoom? Because we haven't spoken before since
then, since
ever. Yeah,
2019.
since all of that.
Yeah.
So what did you think when I was like, hey, I have this idea, I presented the whole deck to you? I was super serious
Yeah.
in my mesh polo
Yeah, and your mesh polo with the fucking golden sun.
and bikini.
Yeah, I was like, damn, this girl is gay, but she's hot as fuck. You know?
And
yeah,
so
you know, in my head, I was, okay, she's gay. She's gay.
mm-hmm.
She's gay.
Tama naman.
Yeah. Still is.
Still is gay
You know, I was just, you know, in my head, I would never really do anything
with a gay girl.
with a gay girl, you know?
During that meeting, he goes, okay, can you start next week?
Yeah, so she presents to me the whole deck. And I'm like, all right, can you start next week?
Yeah, because he just wanted bitches. And I showed him
I was like,
a
yo.
whole deck with like 50 bitches. And I was like,
I got it. I see the vision. I see it in my club. Let's fucking do it.
50
Whatever the
bitches want
cost,
to party.
let's do it. You know, let's just, how much? And she gave me a price. I'm like, let's do it.
mm-hmm. And I priced it super low at the time because it was just a concept. Like I had no proof of concept ever. I've never tried this out. Like obviously I was a promoter in clubs before, but this was a whole new thing where it was my thing. And so I was so happy and excited that he took a chance on me.
To be fair though, like it was cheap for, I think what, like the experience that it was going to evolve into, you know? None of us knew really like how it would kind of turn out.
Mm-hmm.
But in comparison to all the other promotional groups and in comparison to all the other costs that we had at that time for nightlife, the price was a little bit unheard of.
Yeah.
But I said, fuck it.
I was
we
cheap
have
at the time
Hmm?
or expensive at the time.
Because we had no data supporting it, it sounded and looked expensive.
mm-hmm.
Because in comparison,
Okay, yeah, fair.
the ticket price
yeah.
was like twice
Yeah.
what we were spending already.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, if we're trying to disrupt the industry, we have to take risks that,
Yeah.
you know, that aren't necessarily 100%, but if we're willing to try and we make it work, we can, you know, 5x, 10x our revenue. Eventually.
Yeah, and
Right.
so then he's like, okay, can you start next week? And I'm like, whoa. I live in Boracay. Settle down.
Yeah.
And then we go back and forth via email. Basically me asking you to extend it to like, can we start in 2 weeks? Because I have to pack up my life over here.
Yeah.
And I do.
I didn't fully understand the extent
Mm-hmm.
of how lived in you were in Boracay.
Yeah,
I was
I
just
had
like,
an air fryer there.
maybe she's just like there because of COVID and shit. But I didn't really know that you were like living there for like
I was
a year.
deep into it.
Yeah.
And so I packed up my life in 2 weeks. And by the way, when we were emailing, you referred to me as Killa. You're like, hi, Killa.
Hey, Killa.
So bad.
Yeah, that shit was fucking hilarious.
No, but at this point, he unfollowed me on Instagram already. You unfollowed me on Instagram.
I did?
Yeah, you did. Because I unfollowed you a long time ago. Because
see.
you disappeared from liking all my ass pics. Because over the years, you were like a supporter of my baddie pics. Like anytime I posted some ass and titties, you'd heart that. Heart it. If I go back to like 2017 to 2018-ish, you liked, I would say, 80% of my content.
Well, you know, I mean, you could thank me. You could thank me for supporting your career.
I know.
You know, and that's all that I was. It was just
A good
I
friend.
support you.
You supported me. But then
Ass
he
pic.
stopped liking my
Support.
pics. And so you know how you do your monthly IG clean out and you delete all the people. You unfollow a lot of the people you don't really talk to. I unfollowed you because I was like, he hasn't liked my photos in a while. Turns out you went to prison.
Yeah. Kind of hard to like your photos from prison.
And so after we met, I followed him again and he followed me back. And I moved back. And then we
Yeah.
started our first night, April 2022
Mm-hmm.
in HQ.
And then 230 parties later,
Here we are.
here we are.
Okay, so now that they know how we met, what was your first impression of me back then? Like when we first met, drunk, and then properly met in person.
There's this really pretty girl
Mm-hmm.
that, and this isn't to say that, you know, you can't be pretty and a hardworking like businesswoman,
Okay.
right? But it's a rarity to come by,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I was like, oh shit, she's like ready to hustle. She fully moved her life back into to Manila just to try and give birth to this concept.
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I was like, wow, respect.
How did we transition from work to dating? What was it like working with me when we were just working and no dating?
I think that was the really easy part. It was really easy to work with you because I didn't really have to explain myself too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember like all the times we had met during and after our event nights and just being like, hey, let's, take 5 minutes to just like recap what had happened throughout the night, what worked, what didn't, how can we adjust, how can we make it better for the customer.
And during this time, by the way, I was not cheating on my girlfriend.
Yes.
Because there's a huge misconception that I was cheating the entire time that we were doing HQ, and then I cheated on her, and that's why I ended up dating you. But that wasn't the case.
Not at all. Like in my head, I just knew that we worked very well.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, you were gay.
Mm-hmm. And there was no breaking that.
It's like,
because we were together for so long, and you knew that. Like, even I didn't think talaga.
So in my head, it's just like, all right, there's nothing that I could do really to, like, even if I flirted or whatever, which I didn't, it's like, I knew that whatever I did, even if I was somewhat attracted to you, like, I knew that nothing could ever happen because I thought that you were gay.
Yeah.
I thought you
and
didn't
you thought
like
we could. But you thought we were really good workmates. And that's why I feel like there was a connection that we didn't really know was there or existed yet.
Yeah, I think there was, before anything, there was that mental stimulation.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, like you stimulated my brain.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, how can I fix these problems? And somehow you had answers to those problems.
And the thing is, I'd also be very honest with you working with you. And I would talk to you about all these things that bothered me at work, or things I wanted to fix, or my ideas, how we could make it happen. And we would just end up talking like 5 minutes working. We'd end up talking for hours.
Because we just kind of veer off one topic and then focus on the next and then see how certain circumstances equate to certain outcomes. And if those are outcomes that we didn't like how could we navigate that and turn it into something that was more profitable, more enjoyable, more seamless as an experience.
And I was so passionate about Good Gang being in nightlife, and I never really had anyone in the industry take me seriously like you did. I think a very big difference between you and a lot of the people that I tried to work with was that you weren't just looking at my boobs, but you were looking at my thoughts. You were
and
taking
your
my
boobs.
And my boobs as well. But not just that. Like, you actually cared.
Yes.
I think.
Yes, I really did.
Yeah. No, because a lot of people wouldn't give me the time of the day, or they would just think I'm some baddie that had an idea. Okay, cool, and then what?
No, there was definitely respect. Like I super respected you as an entrepreneur or someone that was trying to build their brand. Right. I think working with creatives a lot with my with the Finest and that production company, it really taught me how to let creatives create and find their own path. You gotta make those mistakes. You gotta make those decisions or choices that not necessarily get you exactly where you wanted to be, but it gets you forward. And I think I respected that you were always just slowly, inch by inch, and day by day, trying to get further with your brand.
And I've always been so committed. And I think the problem that I saw with a lot of people was that they're all ideas and they're not willing to take things forward. Whenever I tell you an idea, you'd help me take it forward, and that's what I really appreciated. Another thing is that because the whole concept of Good Gang is like a bunch of giggly girls, just a gaggle of girls working, nobody can really take it seriously. Diba? Parang, okay, so what do you really do? Okay, you just get dressed and then you party. But then I also talked to a lot of people, and another concern for them was like, oh, you guys always listen to Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. And I always felt that there were so many men that were putting us down, like giving backhanded compliments or not really supporting the idea, or just really looking at the girls as bodies to fill the club, or like good looking bodies, but not really seeing like the work that goes into it or what I was trying to build.
It's unfortunate that
which is why I hate men. It's
unfortunate that the stigma is if you have immense beauty, you can't possibly have immense brain. Which I think Good Gang is a champion of.
Like, we actually work.
Like, I know people work hard. but you girls fucking work your asses off.
Yeah.
You know, like I
and
see
do our makeup and in heels.
Exactly. It's that there is no compromise, and that's what I respect.
Yeah.
That when it comes to the work, people never really see the work that you guys put in because they're just so flabbergasted by
the result.
The result or the beauty.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. If we work really hard at making it look easy and seamless and beautiful, and I think that a lot of people just invalidate the work that goes into that. But something I've been thinking about was like how I did ballet for so long, and the actual training is you're gonna be in fucking pain, like on your toes, but the goal here is you have to be beautiful. Like you really have to think about your angles, you really have to think about your makeup and your hair and all of those things. And I
there
think
is no compromising.
there really is none. Like you have to be in pain and look pretty. And I think I took that into good gang.
Yeah.
So you took a chance on me, and then after I became single, actually the very first day I became single, what do you do, babe?
I asked you out.
Yeah. But we were super drunk.
Yeah, I was fucking drunk as fuck.
It was such a crazy night at HQ. Everyone was lit. Like it was one of, I would say, like top 5 HQ nights, right?
I remember I had recently become single too. I didn't have a girlfriend, but I was dating someone, but I'd recently become single.
And you were dating for how long?
6 years.
He was basically single for 6 years. He was
single
on
for
the
6
streets
years.
and he was moving like a dog. And all my friends were saying like, oh my God, he's not dateable because he moves like a dog. Like he fucks all these bitches. Like his body count's probably over 300. He's fucked the entire population and maybe he's dipping his toes in BGC. And so I wasn't even looking at him that way. I was just like, I need a practice guy.
Allegations.
Allegedly.
Allegations all across the board, you know?
And so many people were telling me that.
You know, I didn't know this.
To a point that I thought it was true.
Yeah, I didn't know that people were talking shit like that. That they were just
I still don't know if it's talking shit, but... No? It's shit?
It's shit.
Okay. And so
I'm a nice guy.
Kind of. So all these people were telling me these things like, oh my God, he gave this one girl sex size, and then last week he was with this girl, and then the bouncer would tell me this and that. And so I was just like, okay, I cannot date him. And so when he first asked me out, like properly in the club, and when he first asked me out, he was like, hey, do you want to watch a movie on Friday? And again, we were super smashed. I just kept telling you like, no, you're not going to remember this tomorrow. Are you serious? I kept brushing it off.
I was like, no, let's actually watch a movie. And we watched Thor.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good movie.
Mm-hmm. But the entire time, do you remember how I was sitting?
Yeah, you were just like this. Just
yeah.
Like super straight. Just barely moving.
I
was next to her, like to her left. I was like, you know, just trying to be a bit more comfortable because the seats were one of those seats that
you got the VIP Rockwell seats.
The VIP one. So, you know, you could kind of, what do you call it? Lift your legs and shit, right? And
but I was
just there, just like stiff as a fucking rock, just like arm kind of like to the side, just completely awkward.
Because I've never been on a date like that. Like, nobody's really asked me out properly. Like, of course, all these people are like, hey, you want to get a drink sometime? Hey, you want to...
Yeah.
Obviously, that's so different from somebody properly asking you, like, hey, can we go on a date?
Yeah, and say the words date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, men are so... I mean, men. Sorry.
That's me rubbing off on you. So, during that date, by the way, I already was feeling that I was awkward. Yeah. But I just didn't know how to fix it. And so, because I was super stiff like this... And I was on the left. You're on opposite sides, by the way. My hands were in, and then they opened my hand in case you wanted to hold it. But still, body, neck, super stiff.
I got the impression that you haven't been on many of these
really
so-called dates.
No, because I was taken for so long.
Yeah.
Girls' dates are very different.
For sure.
And you're a boy.
Yeah. And so I saw you open up a little bit with that super stiff body, but then the hand just kind of like opened up like that. It fell like this, but your body language is just so like kind of stuck up. And I was like, I'm not gonna freak this girl out by holding her hand right now. Like it's a first date.
Sober.
And
I've never seen you outside of work.
Yeah.
Yun din yun eh.
Yeah.
I was trying to be profesh.
Even on a date.
Yeah, because I didn't want to fuck it up and like lose my club partner. What was I gonna do? I didn't want to fuck my business deal up.
And
And
that was well, for both of us, right?
yeah. Oh, that's one thing. And also another thing was like, di naman sa ano, but I didn't want people to see me out dating yet. Right? Because I haven't posted that I was single. I didn't want people to think like, oh my God, she's cheating. So I was also still being very careful. I didn't even tell my parents. I didn't want anyone else to preempt what I was going to share with the world.
Yeah.
And so I think I was also in my head about a lot of those things. Yeah, that was our first date, but then you also took me on our first dinner date.
In the Japanese restaurant in Diamond Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
The name escapes me, but
I don't remember the name, but it was really cute.
they had that massive, like, unexpected, that dragon boat of sushi.
Yeah, it was like
The
16
sushi, like,
pieces.
This big. It's fucking massive. And I was like, oh, like, the photos were a little bit misleading.
It was
made
super
it seem so fucking
not date food.
Yeah.
Because I was shoveling that
Ang
into
gulo
my
na
mouth
natin,
like
which fucking-
it was falling off of the
I couldn't fit one roll into my mouth. I had
Yeah.
to like cut it in half.
that. And leading up to that, again, I feel like, those girls in their teens where they have to make paalam to their parents because they're going to see a boy. I was experiencing this for the first time at 23, 24. And so remember when you're like, I'm going to pick you up from
Yeah.
your house for this
Yeah.
date? Because the first movie date, I met him at the movies because I didn't want him to pick me up yet. It's like, whoa, relax. But this time, because we already went through that, and then I saw you a couple times after that movie date, we saw each other at a couple parties
In HQ and the like.
elsewhere.
Elsewhere, yeah.
Yeah, during those 2 weeks, and then you asked me out to this proper dinner date. You said you'd pick me up. And then you remember you're like, where do you live? And then I sent you my PR media.
That little screenshot of what you send your PR people.
Mm-hmm. Of my address with my logo and everything. And I was like, this is where I live. And then I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I sent that to you. And then I bumped into you at the pop-up that same
yeah,
day of
that
our
same day.
date.
That same day, I was there to look at, I think, new audio equipment that we were purchasing.
At Brooklyn Social.
Yeah, and then you just so happened to have a meeting with Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
and then we saw each other.
Yeah. And that day I also came from a coochie wax appointment in QC. So there was that. And so I just saw you. And so I saw you right after that. And then I was like, okay, I'll see you later. See you tonight. Blah, blah, blah. But then Jimmy didn't know we were dating yet.
Yeah. No one knew.
Yeah. After that, I text you and I'm like, wait, just to be clear, are you picking me up on your bike?
I was like, no. I have a proper vehicle.
Yeah.
For this particular situation.
But even then, I said, okay, when you're pulling up to my house, don't doorbell.
Yeah.
Because Yaya will open the door. And then she's going to tell my driver and then the other Yaya and then my mama. And I didn't want to use the doorbell.
Fully grown ass woman sneaking out of her own house like, all right. So good.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, just text me when you're there and I'll go outside quietly. And I do. And I open the door very slowly and I tell my yaya that, oh, my friend is picking me up. And they're like, friend? Wala namang friend sumusundo sa'yo. May driver ka naman. Ba't ka naman papasundo sa friend? And I'm like, yaya, please. Like,
Please, just like,
at
come
23
on.
years old. And you pick me up. You open the door for me and I get in your car. And it's the first time I've ever been picked up by a boy
Which is so bizarre to me.
from my house. Because I've never really dated guys. And I've only seen guys, hung out with guys. It's not like that. And so then we go on the date. And that car ride was super awkward for me. Because I was like, wow, this is like one-on-one time. This is like another movie setup. How shall I put my...
Proceed and do your thing.
Where do I put my arms on this vehicle? And so I remember like resting it, like trying different positions. We get there. It was really nice. Oh, you also couldn't... You were trying to have dinner with me sooner, but then you were sick also, remember?
Yeah, I got
That's
sick.
why.
I got sick. I don't know what I was sick with. I don't remember.
You had a
Maybe
cough.
I had a cough. All right.
And then after that, the dinner... We had a really nice night. And I was like, okay, dinner dates aren't so bad.
Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. I think I was also very worried because we were working together. That was really going through my mind. And I was trying not to be too flirty because I didn't want everyone to be like, oh, the only reason that she's working at HQ, or like the only reason Good Gang got that HQ gig was because she was fucking the manager. Like, I didn't want anyone to have that against me. And so I was not, by the way, fucking you and getting the job. Like, it wasn't like that. And I was just so scared, because I was trying to prove myself in the world. And
it worked both ways, like I obviously the opposite of that was I was trying to be very careful as well because I can't be the manager fucking my suppliers, It's just like it was such a bad look as well.
Exactly.
And so for me as well, I had to keep it on the down low. No one knew for a while. People had inclinations. Obviously the staff,
the staff at HQ knew more than everybody else.
But they kept their mouths shut.
I know. What was your thought on me only ever dating girls? And were you ever scared to date me because I was with girls for so long?
I knew that you didn't date like men before, but it was never really a fear of mine or a worry of mine. I think I just wanted to do my best to show you who I was as a person and introduce me for who I was outside of the workspace.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I did my best to like focus on whenever we would,
Well, for me, I never really saw you as someone that I wanted to date right away because obviously I saw you super smash that LU and then I saw you at that Red Bull event I was working. So I was like, meh. And then everyone at HQ was like, he's a fucking dog. He fucks every single person with a hole. And so I was like, okay, no, like I really can't see him that way. You know what got me? Where I was like, oh, maybe I could like I see. I see how this guy could be something. It was when you told me your prison story. I love a man with lore. I love a man with a deep, deep backstory because if he's been through that kind of hurt, why else would he like to struggle? Like he's already been through that. He can't, he's learned like in some way or in one way or another, you're pre-cooked.
I was pre-cooked.
Kind of, by that. Like, you've already been through some struggle. I hate a man that hasn't been humbled yet.
By life?
Yeah, like, those little cunts that just, like, haven't gone through it yet. But you got me when you said that you went to prison. And I was like, oh, my God, Prison Break was my favorite series. And I remember that night where you told me your whole prison story. And I gave you a hug. Front first, so you could feel my boobs. And I was like, oh, my God. This homeboy can get it.
Yeah.
I love to see a man go through painful things.
Yeah. And, every day since getting out has just been an amazing day.
Yeah.
Every
exactly.
day
You're just grateful
better.
to be alive.
I'm grateful to be fucking alive.
And so that's the attitude.
The
I'm so done with like, let's say athletes that think they're like the king of the world, never been humble in their life. We're like artists that, okay, their managers treat them so nice. And then madlang peeps, they treat them so nice. Like, I want a man that's been beat. Like, and you look like that.
There are two types of men though. The ones that get up and the ones that stay down.
Yeah, well, also I don't like the sad boys, okay? The ones that were like really hurt by the world and then just kind of stay in that space, that weird purgatory. No.
It's tough. It's tough to get out of. But
yeah, and so I really liked you from that point on. So after that, we dated for another like few months, but I was fully making out with so many people in front of you at the clubs.
Mostly women.
And one gay man.
And one gay dude.
He's bi, I think.
Fair. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
He is.
But mostly women, and I would really just kind of have fun because I've never had my single era, and then Good Gang, we were going out all the time. So I was really taking myself around town. But
and I was never really clear about, what the setup was. But at the same time, like, I also understood that, you just got out of a very long relationship.
And I've never seen a guy before, too.
Yeah. It was like a setup or experience that I didn't want to be that person to stop you from living your life.
Yeah, and I didn't also want you to hijack my experience.
As like being single for a while.
But I really liked you. I was also kind of waiting on you to take the lead because obviously, as a girl, you don't want to be the person to ask like, "What are we? Oh my God, what are we?"
Yeah.
Like you're not trying to do that because you also don't want to come off as some crazy psycho bitch that like hung out one time is asking, "What are we?" the next day. Like I didn't want to be that bitch, right?
Nah.
I wasn't trying to do that. Again, people were telling me you were a man of the streets. And so I wasn't sure also if you were ready for a serious relationship. Because, again, to be fair, even if you communicated it, that you're like, oh, you're like, I want to date someone now, blah, blah, blah. So many guys say that and don't actually mean it. They just say it to make girls happy. And so I didn't know your headspace at the time.
Well, during that time, obviously, I was aware of you just recently being single. So parang nangangapa pa ako.
Yeah, me also.
And I don't want to like lock you into this whole new thing off the bat.
What do you think about the Magic Mike situation now? And how are you feeling in the moment?
I think that
That's Bible.